where's that coming from? Where's that coming from? That wasn't good. Anybody know where that was coming from? We had a leak there.
I think it was me.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, if like I play the YouTube and I'm muted, is it still play over?
Yeah, you don't want to play the YouTube while we're on.
Sorry. It usually has like no sound on. I don't know why I was playing sound that time, so it was my fault.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Ladies, gentlemen, friends, foes, lurkers, regulars, GMO people, organic people.
Boiler room. Inbound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Boiler Room. This meeting of the Social Rejects Club is happening live on September 22nd of 2022. I want to thank you for joining us. Here we are, everybody. Here we are. We're in the home stretch on 2022, as today is the fall equinox. And we're officially beginning the autumn season. And we're approximately 50 days away from midterm elections. Biden says the pandemic is over, but he says he's going to use the pandemic emergency as a policy to piggyback some student loan forgiveness off of. Okay, that's confusing. What else? Threats of civil war. Yeah, threats of civil war in the national media. Threats of World War III in the international media. 300,000 Russian troops being called into service for the fight in Ukraine. Vaxidents. Vaxidents abound. The statistics are in on the vaxidents and the massive cover-up of them. mRNA tech being greenlit in perpetuity as the pandemic industrial complex marches onward. Eat the bugs for the planet. Give up your hydrocarbon combustion engines for the planet. Give up all your personal data for national security. Submit yourself to big pharma, big biopharma, big biotech for your own health, for the health of those around you. One size fits all education, healthcare, and more, meant to neuter you mentally and destroy your physical temple, your body. Never mind that everyone you know who did as they were told and took the experimental shots have all gotten the COVID, according to their beloved test kits and swabs, of course. And as far as I can tell, everyone I know that took it has had COVID since they took it, at least once. High blood pressure is the norm. Healthy people of all ages commonly have heart attacks and strokes now. That's normal. Never mind that we were told 2 years ago that we'll do anything collectively to make sure that not one elder in poor health dies or even gets a wheeze or a sniffle. Yet now we're all expected to suffer and live through an economic recession to save the planet and to support a country called Ukraine. Now we're expected to let the power companies and the green policy fraud peddlers to price us out of the ability to keep our elders from freezing to death in their own homes during the winter. Now we're expected to let the federal government and the Fortune 100 destroy our culture with imposed chaos in the form of drug epidemics, open borders, no cash bonds, corrupt DAs funded by open society, massive violent prisoner releases at home and imported from other countries, endless jab schedules, shortages in food, fuel, and energy, and a crashing fiat system slated to be replaced by things like UBI and CBDC. Money with strings attached. We're expected to let non-elected governmental bodies like the ATF, the FBI, the EPA, the FDA, the NIH, the DOJ, the CDC, and others run roughshod around the Constitution and the entire foundational concepts of the United States. And why? So they can be our daddy. The state, the globalists, the government, all want to be your daddy. Who's your daddy? I thought we were supposed to rebel against the patriarchy, yet all these people, they want to say they're our daddy and that they're going to save us from ourselves. Well, we think not. We think not. Here in the boiler room, this whole thing is ridiculous. We, the Social Rejects Club, are here to say no thank you. No thanks. We did not vote on any of that. All of that is unconstitutional. These actions that promote policy shifts into the so-called Great Reset, into a future of biocommercial and biotechnological priorities, of track and trace, of test and treat by mandate, of forced austerity while they shift the grand chessboard around and rig the game for the next couple hundred years. Again, we think not. Let's dive into these toxic media streams and see what we can do to protect ourselves from this predatory mass media, which is doing everything it can to try to normalize all of the abnormal things I just said. All right. If you're missing any Boiler Room shows, go to our YouTube, go to our Rockfin, go to our Twitter at Social Rejects. There's a link to where you can find all those things that are jammed up. They'll be in the pod streams very soon. Ruckus and Derp are helping me unlog jam that. So thanks to those guys. We'll get caught up real soon here. To our patrons out there and anyone that supports us by buying merch or sharing our stuff, we really appreciate you. Thank you very much. And enough of that. On the show tonight, let's get into it. Let's see who we got. Let's open the green room up here. There's the boiler room. Bam. There we go. We got Infidel Pharaoh joining us once again, our resident scientist here. Infidel, welcome back to the boiler room. How are you tonight?
Thanks, sir. I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here with all you fine people tonight, all the fine listeners and yourself, man.
Thanks, sir. It's time for more states to join and call for the convention of states.
Ooh, all right.
Federal government under control.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. We got to fix this, man. We got to fix this. Otherwise, it's a runaway freight train. All right, we've got the man behind the Daily Ruckus and the man who will be featured on Joseph Arthur's Technicolor Dreamcast coming up in a little bit here tonight. Ruckus, welcome back to the show. Ruckus, how you doing, man?
Howdy, folks. That's all I got for now because we got
There
a
you
lot
go.
to talk about, don't we? And I gotta go do my other thing after this. So
Exactly. Yeah, Ruckus is here. He says howdy, and he is ready to party. And that
thanks for
leads
having
us.
me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for being here. I know you're doing double duty tonight. That leads us to the one, the only, the curator of all things Whiskey Tango Foxtrot on the interwebs. Lovely Spore. Welcome. How are you doing tonight?
I am excellent. Happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. Well, it's time. It's time to break the ice. What kind of icebreaker you got for us tonight, Spore?
Oh, it's so crazy because it's just like regular news is so clownish now that it all feels icebreaker-ish, like so freaking weird. And we've got like a lot of really great contributions from our listeners in our Discord chat for icebreakers, but I did have to go with this one that you brought, Ruckus. So let's go for it. The title is Fuck to Earn Crypto Startup Uses Wearable Biometrics to Track Sexual Activity. So I'm not going to go into this whole article. I'll just tell you that the company is called Sexn, SEXN, and they plan to deliver the capability of people being able to be sexual and earn crypto for their sexuality, like how active they are sexually. And they have wearables. It does not say exactly what the wearables are. It could be, I mean, my first thought was like something from like Upload, like a sex suit or something like that. But Hesher was like, oh, well, I think it's more like a watch or something like that. And that makes sense because it sounds like the data that they're collecting for the sexual experiences is based off like, you know, your heart rhythms and things like that. And there is geolocation. So like, you know, if you're extra excited and you're running and they see like on your geolocation that you've gone a mile, you're probably not just sitting around jerking off or having sex with someone. And I do believe there's less points or less crypto that you get for the masturbation part comparatively to the interactive part with other human beings. So
Okay, let me make sure I understand this. There is a cryptocurrency startup called Sexen, SEXN, and their business model is sort of like a play to earn sort of thing, except it's like do it to earn, and they somehow use biometric tracking on your devices to sort of collect metadata about your sex life. Do I have that right?
that's my understanding. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Well, I'm gonna hold comment and go straight to Ruckus on this one. Ruckus, what's going on here? How do we add this to the pile of strange biological crypto creation categories?
You did it to me again, Spore. Just
No,
because
you
just
brought.
just because I suggest these stories for Icebreaker doesn't mean you have to use them. See, especially when I'm going to be on the show and have to talk about them. I remember, like, if I'm not mistaken, one of my first experiences with an Icebreaker was like the Automa blow. So
Oh, that was such a good one.
that's a classic.
You need to check that, yeah.
All right. So what the play on this is, no pun intended, I suppose, is there's a very popular cryptocurrency play to earn, well, not play, but earn app called Stepn, STEPN. And you buy these NFT shoes, like joggers, like little runner shoes, right? And I don't think you get real ones in real life, but it's all somehow you have an app that you download, and then I guess it can tell that you're jogging from the jostling of the phone, right? Or whatever, or it tracks your steps. I don't know how it works, but you earn cryptocurrency for jogging, running, and it's called Stepn. And they named this one, and their business model is specifically trying to follow that, but with the sex, um, with this stuff. So that's why it's called Sexin. That's why they did the name that way, because it's trying to be a play on Stepn.
It's really cute.
Yeah, and clever. I think this is one of those. I think it's a rug pull, is what it's called, and that sounds dirty, right? Because it's a sex coin, but that's what it's called when people go out there and create these things, and then people build up excitement around it, and everyone throws their money into it, and then the early people invest in the coin, sell it, and do what's called a rug pull on everybody. Because you could tell from that article, there's not a lot of information about how are they going to do this. Like all those questions you pointed out, Spore. We need some answers here. And this is why I hate that you did this to me, because I'm just going to go there. All right. So how would they do this? Right. So maybe it's something, I don't know. Because, yeah, you could fake all the, like the heart rate, the breathing, the perspiration, even. Like you just, like, what's the difference between masturbating and doing it with somebody else? So I think there's going to have to be some actual new physical wearable that we've never seen before. So I'm imagining maybe like a cock ring or something.
I can't believe I just heard that out of
Sorry.
your mouth.
Mom, forgive me.
Okay,
You're out
okay,
there.
no,
Oh my.
I have to say though, okay, so I used to work with a company for several years that we did step challenges, and cheating was a big deal. And because people have their Fitbits and things like that, it does calculate like the number of bounces and things like that when you're running or walking, and people were like putting their Fitbits on their dog collars and stuff like that, So I mean, you've got a really good point there. Like, how can they actually know what you're doing at the time? I mean, unless, like, I guess, like you said,
I don't think I have to tell the audience what just popped up in my head when you were talking about putting it on their dogs, because if they did that with this, never mind.
Well, I did notice in the article that the company, I guess it's a company, they're saying that basically they're going to provide some sort of wearable eventually, but in the meantime, people are going to be using, like Spore's talking about, Apple Watches, Fitbits, things like that are already set up to track your steps. And it kind of strikes me, Spore, there was an app like when the Fitbit first came along, or when it first started getting connected to popular apps on phones. I recall there was one similar for your sex life, and it would I think you would put it on the bed and it would sense the motion of the ocean on the bed essentially, and it would rack up some sort of statistics like that. So sort of like a
That's totally
rudimentary.
cheatable, though. You could totally cheat that app for that crypto. So if it
Oh
was just
yeah.
bed balancing, it's like you could just sit on the bed and bounce around, and it wouldn't necessarily mean there was sex
Just
having.
put one of the kids on the bed and tell them to jump.
Yeah. Get all your dogs up on there, all your kids, just do a bouncy party, and you get like all crypto coming your way.
Well, I think for this to be honest and above board, we're going to have to involve the cameras. I mean, we're just going to be tracked and traced anyways everywhere we go. So why not let these crypto companies just enable all the cameras so that they have proof of your actual activity? Because they're going to pay you for it. They can't be defrauded.
That's what Media Bear out on the YouTube said. He beat you to it, Hesher. Shout out
All
to
right.
Media Bear.
I didn't even have the comments open. I better open them up. What's up, Media Bear? See, great minds, great minds. Yeah. All right. Well, it is kind of funny though, because there was like it starts with the steps, right? It starts with the Fitbit, count your steps, and then it's like, oh, they try to advertise your own stats to you so you can, I think it's so you can like, one up yourself or track your progress, whatever. Mostly talking about steps here, not your not your sex life. But I suppose you could do that too. They've had apps for that for a long time, but now they want to monetize it. So I don't know. Pretty interesting. Infidel Pharaoh, what do you think, man? Generating money, generating cryptocurrency in the bedroom.
Well, let me say first, I mean, I just looked at some snippets from the article when you had it on. So they're saying they're using like heart rate and breath stats because it's different when you're having sex. You're also pairing it with GPS. On my question to this, what if you like to join Bangabus or like have sex in the car? I guess you're not going to get paid because
What?
you're assuming you're stationary.
What's Bangabus?
I
Like a
guess
bang
you don't
bus.
watch. I guess you don't watch porn.
Oh, did you call it Bang Bus or
Bang bus,
Bangabus?
yeah, bang bus, yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah, that's right. We didn't even think about that. What about the Mile High
Yeah.
Club? How do you get your
there you
points
go, there you
at
go.
300 miles an hour?
right.
But your point about cameras, I mean, this is like a perfect entry for like opening like amateur porn to the next level, right?
Yeah, we're just a
You're
spitball away from OnlyFans here, right?
Yeah, dude, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're gonna just pay you, and you're just gonna be on camera, and you're gonna be famous too. You're gonna earn crypto, and you're going to be an influencer, and
Make you
get it all.
famous.
You get it all. We're gonna make you famous.
So that's YouTube's plan to survive Rumble going public, is that they're gonna they're gonna switch to being brings a whole new level of Big Brother is watching you, doesn't it? That's kind of gross. Yeah.
They're always coming up with new ways to get us to sign up to give away more of our privacy, aren't they?
Well, I mean, people are the one who's signing up for it, though.
Yeah, it's all
just
voluntary.
Those suckers that are falling for it. I mean, we're voluntarily accepting term of use. We're voluntarily giving it all to them. So might as well just keep asking for it.
Right. I mean, give someone an inch. Why not? I mean, they made so
Literally,
much money
yeah.
on the inch. They'll come back for the mile.
That's right. Yeah, it's I don't know. How long has this been in place?
This is not started yet. It's just
I haven't started yet. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a concept. So
Just a concept.
There are other ones out there though too. There's also an entire adult industry genre, I guess, niche is the word, I suppose, in the cryptocurrency. There's some interesting adult industry coins out there. Most with the idea of like, like a Pornhub kind of thing, I suppose, where like the models, though, kind of like what Rockfin or other certain streaming content things do with cryptocurrency, where you can contribute to the community and the creator actually gets to make money from what they're doing rather than the industry. So I guess that's kind of good in a way. It's kind of decentralizing capitalism and content creation of all sorts, including the adult industry. There was one guy who I made friends with in the cryptocurrency space swears by because he made a crap load of money on it. But I'm just like, I don't know how I would never be able to buy this token because here you go. Number 2, Spore. The cryptocurrency is called Cum Rocket.
Oh
And
God.
the token, the ticker is cum.
Okay.
CUM. So can you imagine the conversation you're having with your grandma one night at Thanksgiving, and she wants to know how you suddenly made a shit ton of money, and you tell her, well, grandma, I made a killing, buying and selling cum. But anyway,
Cum coin.
Well,
Oh
here,
boy.
my question is, why are all this not considered as prostitution? What's the difference between OnlyFans and prostitution? If they want to legalize, if OnlyFans is legal, why isn't it just legalize prostitution?
I mean, I imagine it's because there's a difference between like a physical interaction where you can exchange, like sperm and body fluids and things like that compared to like just the internet where you're just doing stupid shit on video.
So is the only argument against prostitution is just they are they are just worried about your physical health and not transmitting diseases?
Oh, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of arguments other than that.
But they
It's-
are, but they at the same time they are actually advocating just random sex and sex
Oh,
parties.
yeah.
So it is not. So they cannot come and make that argument.
No, you can't have it both ways. I see what the problem is here. You can't have it both ways. You can't have a world where everything is so motherfucking progressive that anyone can identify as anything, and a woman can marry a chandelier, and NAMBLA becomes a real recognized organization, and you've got school biological male school teachers running around high schools with like size 22 double Z prosthetic tits on, making kids uncomfortable. You can't have it both ways. You can't like say you're protecting sex work while you're promoting all this other stuff, or that you can't have sex work. None of it meshes. A lot of it's mutually exclusive. And I think it's meant that way on purpose to kind of give everybody their own little safe haven of normalcy bias, where they can hide out with whatever jives with their politic or their kink or their way of making money. But I mean, oh man, yeah, it's mostly a money making racket. I think just that's the big thing here. It's kind of like the legalizing of marijuana, like they can't just do it everywhere all at once because it's complicated, and they have to figure out how to jam it into the culture. They have to figure out how to make it so everybody can make money on it, and that the victims of it can still remain victims. But rather than putting them in the legal system, maybe we can just suck cash and life force out of them, on both sides, on the client and the service side.
Yeah, they have to make sure that their friends are in on it.
Right.
What's his name? Boehner. What's the name of the Boehner, right?
Oh.
Was the Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
Boehner,
Yeah. Boehner.
Yeah. So
Boehner?
his I think it was before Paul Ryan. And he's one of the biggest like marijuana investors. So they have to make sure they are on it before they legalize it, and everything is the deck is stacked. There you go. Yeah, that orange.
Yeah,
guy.
you gotta like make sure that you can't just go against all the cartels, they got various ones everywhere that run this stuff.
I think there's actually a bigger story here with this play to earn, step to earn, sex to earn, because what they're doing here. Actually, real quick before I say that, but to your point, about the prostitution, how is this not prostitution? They're literally going to pay you for having sex. That, and by definition, I think is prostitution. Anyway, but they're paying people and are encouraging and creating these supposedly grassroots communities and opportunities and ecosystems for people to get paid for doing things they do already for free. You see what I'm saying here? So it's almost like it's like a stepping stone training beta program for like UBI kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think, because I'm like, people need to do something, but who in their right mind is going to sit around and do nothing and just get paid to do nothing? Because I thought about that. I was like, sure, we might want to judge people and say, oh yeah, everyone would jump at the chance to do nothing, sit on their ass and get paid. But I disagree. I think human beings like to do things and be productive. So I think that that's where we're moving towards. If they ever really want everybody to do their UBI kind of thing, there's going to be a lot of these people doing stuff like that, play to earn, watching ads, clicking on stuff, watching movies on Netflix, playing games, doing stuff in the metaverse. It's all going to get very virtual and digital and very fake. And you'll
I don't
probably
know.
own nothing and you might be happy.
Exactly. I agree.
I don't know if you consider like having sex as earning it though, or doing something. It's just you cannot take pleasures and indulging in pleasures and call that, hey, I'm working.
Well, Imco, this is just the first step. The next step is they're going to actually collect the samples, and
Yeah, that's
they're going to
probably.
provide it to the gray aliens who are producing hybrids. We're going to replace the normal humans on. Don't you watch Ancient Aliens or anything? Come on, man.
And is this what your cum friend was doing?
There you go. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're buying the tokens for the aliens, for the what are the ones that come back for the gold? The Anunnaki. There you go.
Anunnakis, yeah. Yeah, we need insert David Icke right here. Okay, so are you telling me are you telling me that they are going to gamify and commodify whacking off? This is not going to be good for society. With regards to like where this is headed and what level of reality this actually has, 2 points. Number one, I'm reading from the article. Other modes include masturbation mode, which generates fewer tokens, super mode for longer sessions, and sadism and masochism mode, which is still in development due to safety concerns. In each case, users will be rewarded in dollar SOT, which is a crypto designation. So SOTs, which generated 1,000 or 125,000 in pre-sales dollars worth. So SexN has also released a dollar SST governance token, which crashed in value shortly after its debut. So number one thing, it's pretty freaky that they're gonna pay people to just whack off.
What
That's not healthy. That's not a good thing for young people to have as an option to just kind of, tie together what you guys are saying here. That's a dangerous trap. Lots of people and they used to tell you not to, like, people have obsessive compulsive orders about sexual stuff sometimes. There's a lot of people out there that experience that. That's why there are sex therapy doctors and stuff like that. That's why there are Nymphomaniacs Anonymous or whatever the hell they call those groups. People have to go to support groups for that. And you're going to financially incentivize people to sit around and do that. That's dangerous territory right there. So it says that it's not clear whether this is going to become a real service, but the fact that they already made the crypto and made some money on it before it all crashed says something too about maybe opportunities, like Ruckus was saying, for this sort of rug pulling or pump and dumping, and I don't know. Also note the source on this, everybody. Oh yeah, note the source on this. Look at this real quick. Vice. That's from Vice right there. They're well known for doing PR and doing state propaganda and stuff like that. So this could all be a giant. This article itself, the story itself, the write up of what this proposal would actually do, could just be a giant ruse to have made that original 125K. What do you think, Ruckus?
wait. Can I just interrupt before Ruckus comments? Sorry, Ruckus. I don't mean to cut you
Yeah,
off.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. This has already been going on. I mean, there have been sites doing this for years, asking for
Yeah.
token coins, what Chatterbait. I mean, like people have been getting tokens and money in different ways for jerking off online for years. Like, I mean, the only thing that's really different about this is like it's 2022, and now they're going to make it a little bit more exciting by saying that they've got some sort of way of tracking it rather than just I mean, it's just been old school for, I mean, as far as I know, I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but I know it's been around for a long time.
Yeah, well over 10
Cameras
years.
go on and people get tipped tokens. I mean, it's the same thing as like going to a strip club or whatever. It's a virtual strip club, and
Mhm.
I mean, it's really not that novel.
No, it's like they totally took something that was already there, a paradigm that's been there since webcams were like, 640 by 280 or whatever. And
marketed with NFTs. I mean, they're basically a part of the article I saw was or part of it that I was reading made it sound to me like if you were just going to be like jerking off, you get a specific NFT to track your jerking off. But if you were actually having sex, then you get a specific NFT to have sex. So like it's like a modern day version of the
yeah,
same stuff.
arguably it's even worse than the old paradigm of like I don't know, whatever. I guess OnlyFans now is sort of the paradigm, the dominant platform for that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's this is worse because you're getting paid in money that's going to tank and gifts, I guess, little badges and stuff, right? Like you're playing Xbox or something.
Usually, you show off your NFTs on your social media. So I don't know
All right,
how
on your
many
Twitter.
people. Yeah, how many people are going to be proud of that one? On
Yeah, they got golden condom on their
Facebook.
Twitter profile.
Speaking of grandma, get those uncomfortable questions. What is that thing on your badge around your avatar on Facebook?
It's a
I suck the-
teledildonic cock ring, Grandma.
I
Sorry.
suck the current thing. Maybe what's really going on, folks, all truth is that we are in a bear market for cryptocurrency right now. So a lot of these people need something to talk about, something to work on. The investors need something to throw their money away at. I mean, so or away, depending on how you look at it. So, yeah, when during the bear market, there's not a lot going on. People aren't excited about crypto, so it's like kind of slow news days. So this is what I would just label as officially. Wow,
Whoa.
good lord, you guys heard that,
Wow.
right?
Yeah, that came
Was that
through.
from your studio, Ruckus?
That was my studio.
Somebody picking up your house?
Holy smokes, that
Dude,
was thunder.
I'm surprised
That was
your power
thunder?
didn't go off. That was insane.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna call this cryptocurrency clickbait.
I think you're onto something. I think we're nailing it. I think we're getting down to the wire here. We've chased this one down to its origins. Ruckus better go check on the yard, make sure it's not on fire out there. Is everything cool, Ruckus? Let us know. Let us know everything's okay. Our podcast listeners, they can't see, they're just hearing this.
Just grabbing a flashlight and keeping it close by, just in case.
All right. Okay, if Ruckus disappears quickly after a cracking sound like that, if the sky cracks again and Ruckus goes dark, we'll know.
Yeah, he'll be tucked into a bathtub somewhere.
Sucking my thumb, listening to Alex Jones.
With your e-foods all ready to go and your rocket stove all ready to heat up your water that you collect outside for your e-foods. I know, man, it could pop off. It could pop off at any minute, dude. They're threatening us with civil war and world war. Infidel Pharaoh, man, what do you make of what is going on? Assuming everybody, we're done with this stupid pump and dump crypto scam we just uncovered. Talking to you, Eric Weiss over at Vice News, who wrote that. We would like a disclosure of your emails with this cryptocurrency company. We want to see how this PR mission came to be sucking up our airwaves tonight. But we know what you're up to. We're learning to defend ourselves from ghouls like you out there. I don't know. Maybe he's a nice guy. And he's got handed this wonderful piece of clickbait and he couldn't help himself. We couldn't. we brought it up. But there you go. Crypto is fun. But Infidel, what the hell, dude? You hear all this stuff going on I was talking about in the intro there, but in particular, like more of this civil war rhetoric, more of this MAGA terrorist rhetoric, more and now more like after Putin came out and said what he said this week. Uh, more World War III talk. We've got generals coming out and saying we should get ready for war with Russia and stuff. I mean, the rhetoric has escalated a little bit since we were here on air last, man. What do you make of all this?
Well, I mean, number one, um, when the president of the United States come out and say MAGA Republicans are extremists and a threat to our democracy, what do you expect from people, right? We saw that in North Dakota this week. And did any of the mainstream media talk about what happened in North Dakota?
Mm.
No,
No.
right?
Yeah.
When people now are radicalized to go run over uh, each other. So I mean, they have been setting up the rhetoric, right? Like the mainstream media, the liberal mainstream media have been setting up the narrative of the civil war. And when they do set this, it's mean that they are in deep inside their head. That's what they are thinking about. That's what they want to do. And they made it very clear: if we lost power, we're gonna create a civil war.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, I don't know where it's gonna end, but either way, um, add this to what's happening in Russia and just keep pushing Russia to escalate. They want war. They want civil war or world war. It doesn't
Or both.
matter.
Maybe
They want
both.
or both. All what they want is they want distractions from really the reality of what's happening on the ground. Um, how they effed up the economy, how their green agenda is destroying Europe, how their green agenda is destroying US.
And their war.
Um, and say that again.
And their war as far as the power, like the war, because of the
Yeah.
sanctions and everything. They're
Well,
fucked.
well, well exactly. They are the one who did this to themselves, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah, it was
they
like a
pushed it
suicide.
and they used it as an excuse to push for their green agenda. Um, Rising prices of everything, midterm elections coming, so they have to create more distractions. It just the game, right?
Mhm.
Um, but I they should have known by now that just Russia is just not fucking around.
Yeah,
So
man. And it's like, what? Okay, so, okay, the government's gone mad. They wanna do all this globalization stuff. They wanna do all this biotech stuff. Alright, they've gone mad. Really, though? They wanna talk about having a civil war here and promoting a war in Europe at the same time? It's like, what kind of, insane person is that, you know? It just doesn't even make sense. It's like, you guys wanna have one war, fine. Which one's it gonna be? Which one, should we be involved in mentally here? Why are we getting both at once? It's
yeah,
just full on.
I don't think you can take any behavior that our government is doing now or any of those Western European government and think about it rationally. Honestly, there is just no way to rationalize what they are doing, other than they're just ideologues that have an agenda in their head that they just want to push for.
Right,
But
and they're all getting
with zero regards for people, as you said,
yeah,
they don't care about people dying from cold. Um, Now they have European countries actually having fines and going to jail if you set your thermometer above certain degrees in winter or below certain degrees in summer.
yep,
This is not a joke. This is actually happening. Um, and it's, I mean, it's a perfect vehicle, right? I think
mhm,
COVID opened all this. And now we're just gonna keep pushing the pedal and see how far we can go until you wake up. So
Yep. How much austerity must the Western normie accept or endure before they start to realize, oh crap, we let this go too far and get too weird and be too stupid?
It's when they run out of beer, Hesher.
Oh,
I saw a headline about that actually. So
beer run. Gotta have a
Mhm.
beer run in the apocalypse.
shit might pop off soon. Did you guys see that? I swear they said something about beer might be running out because of the
Because of
Ukraine conflict
the
or something.
crops.
Yeah,
Because of
yeah,
the
exactly. The
yeah.
yeast.
I mean, there is yeast
Mhm.
and even some of the grains. I bet.
See, but my
Mhm.
point is, it's all fun and games until you take away their beer and their football. Then
Yeah.
it's on like Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
telling me that
Nobody
Germans
seems to.
are
They don't care about the food, right? They don't care about. They don't want to prep. They don't want to be worried about the supply chain. But that's when it'll hit them. Like you saw, like there was hardly any talk really of anybody I knew outside of like certain circles or whatnot about like the chip shortages, right? Other than
Mhm.
from the people who wanted desperately to buy their new PlayStation 5s and suddenly found that that was a difficult thing to do during the pandemic. You know? Oh, but you don't give a crap that, like, your food price has been slowly going up and that there's less and less items at your stores and people are going crazy hoarding toilet paper and idiots are walking around wearing 3 masks on their face for no reason, but like, "Hey, but my PlayStation 5." It's a sad state of affairs, so
I don't know about you guys, but my grocery bill have went up 1.5.
Oh, it's nuts, dude. I was looking at some stats on my show the other day, reading some stats, and people aren't buying stuff other than the essentials anymore at the grocery store. Like there's a you can see it in the shopping statistics. They're talking about it. I don't have the article to hand, but yeah, everybody's down to, milk, eggs, bread, juice, just whatever,
Mhm.
diapers, etc., baby
And
Yeah,
we're,
food.
I
and they
mean,
have those.
we're sorry, we're seeing also like that. Um, if you do go out to eat, like they're serving smaller portions for the same price as before, and like maybe like increasing it a few dollars, or uh like way less meat on your plates for the same price it used to be. Like there's definitely some things going on here where it's we're not getting what we used to get like 6 months ago even.
Yeah, I mean, restaurants have to pass it to the consumer too, right? That's really that's why. I mean, whoever's saying inflation is transient are just flat raw lying, right? All those government officials that saying this is a transient inflation is bullshit.
Hmm.
This is actual real devaluation of our currency that already happened, and
Right.
we're seeing it right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, we've seen the meat go up, the eggs, the milk, cheese. I mean, all the basic items that we normally buy, it's already gone up a decent amount.
Yeah, it's definitely changing. Portions are getting smaller. Still seeing a lot of restaurants closing down. A lot of new ones opening too. Definitely some new ones opening in their places. So hopefully we won't have another lockdown or some garbage like that, and then lose the other 40% of our small business, small owned restaurants, whatnot. But yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. And you mentioned what happened in North Dakota earlier there. And if maybe some of our listeners may not know what happened, even the article that you shared with us seems to be down right now for some reason. I don't know. It looks more maybe glitchy than
Yeah, I think the website may be just glitchy.
yeah, they're probably getting DDoSed or something because uh there seem to be one of the only outlets. Well, I'm sure there's a few. I know we were talking about it on TNT
I got
earlier and
another link for you, Hesher. Hold on.
okay, cool. But yeah, that'll be good for the show page. Thanks, man. So just 4 days ago in North Dakota, a 41-year-old named Shannon Brandt, according to press reports, admitted to having run over and killed an 18-year-old conservative named Kaylor Ellingson for belonging to a what he called quote Republican extremist group. So, uh, yeah, isn't that Interesting. Okay, cool. Got the link. Thanks, Ruckus. So it's up there on the New York Post. Everybody can find it. I'll put it on the screen so people can check it out
And
here.
what's more interesting is they actually released him for a $50,000 bond.
Yeah. Yep. That's the world we live in now.
And the interesting part is I went to the Justice Department website because I wanted to look up what is the definition of from their webpage called Learn About Hate Crime. And they have an equation. A crime plus motivation for committing this crime based on bias equal hate crime. So is this can they classify this as a hate crime or no?
Seems pretty cut and dry to me. Yeah, why not? Yeah. It's funny how they use that one selectively, isn't it? And it's also funny how like
Yep.
we already have laws against, mowing people down intentionally for any reason whatsoever. So it's like, oh, well, we have this extra one that will apply where when it fits the narrative, when it fits the kind of narrative we need to spin, or when it's convenient, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I really don't understand it. It's like they keep doing this shit, man, where they're like layering laws on top of laws. What the hell is that?
Yeah. So in that same web page, they have different scenarios. So scenario is color, gender identity, disability, race, ethnicity, religion, gender, sexual orientation, but there is nothing about political orientation or political views.
Huh. Funny because if the situation was reversed, it would be all about the political views,
Absolutely. I mean,
and it would be
seriously, all those there is no the only mainstream outlet that spoke about it was Fox News.
uh-huh.
All the other medias are just cricket.
Killed
including Snopes. There's not going to be a fact check. They're not going to be like, did a
Yeah.
Democrat run over a teenager and kill him because he was a Republican? False, or mostly false, partially true, or
Let me
They're
see
gonna
whatever
if
they
go
there
would
with
is
say.
one.
They won't even
Yeah.
put attention on it. They don't even want anybody to know.
Yeah, I'm guessing it won't be there at all. So, a 41-year-old runs over an 18-year-old with intent to kill him because he doesn't like his politics. And this is not worthy of being on CNN. This isn't worthy of Don Lemon coming on and saying, "Oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry. I should not have whipped all of these people up to be so angry at the other political side." Is Rachel Madcow gonna come out of quarantine or the basement or wherever she is right now and say, "I'm sorry, I did that. I'm sorry, I made crazy people crazier. I'm sorry, I accused all those other people, those 100 million Americans, of dog whistling for 4 years when I actually just dog whistled and played a part in something so tragic happening. One fully grown adult running down a just 1 year into his adult life teenager, a kid, basically. No offense, 18-year-old men. Uh, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just doesn't fit the narrative that we got to have. Did Don Lemon finally get fired too? That's great, Brian. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. I knew that
It
might be
did.
coming, but that's wonderful. See, there is some good news out there.
I think he kind of got demoted or something, but I don't know.
It's funny because he was trying to say no, it was actually a promotion.
Oh,
He was trying to sell it as a promotion.
Hesher, I sent you a link to show by contrast what the mainstream media is talking about, rather than talking about an actual real life example of somebody causing physical harm over politics. We see them beating the fake false flag propaganda MAGA are terrorists drum constantly, like
oh
same
yeah,
day, you know?
right. Like, how could they put this out? Uh, well, that's just happened a couple days ago. The worst is yet to come. Experts warn MAGA violence is spreading and law enforcement should prepare. All right, MSN. All right. What are these? Oh my God, dude. Just
They are
crazy.
really setting the narrative for FBI to just like go bangs on everybody's doors, huh? That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, dude, they're setting it up so that they can send any of those 3-letter whatever the fucks to anyone's
Mhm.
door at any time. Doesn't matter. They'll, and they're telegraphing that they basically don't care, that everybody is realizing that it's political in nature, and they're trying to shut people down, make people ineffective, take them out of the political game. I don't know. It's pretty bizarre to see the whole thing just get normalized. Like, is there other than like Hungary, is there even such a thing as a right-wing government? Are there any right-wing governments right now on the planet? Is there a single fucking one? Like a real one? I'm not talking about like when Trump was in charge, maybe to an extent, but like due to all the rhinos and the globalization in our country, aside from America, is there such a thing as a right-wing government aside from Hungary? I might be,
I mean, they call the Brazilian guy. What's his name?
oh, yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, he might count. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay, so that's 2. Trying to think if there's any more.
I don't know. If they count Modi as he's a nationalist, but I don't think they count him as a right wing. But he's definitely a nationalist.
Mhm, mhm,
Does
alright.
right and left mean the same thing in all the various countries'
I
government?
Well, yeah, that's a good
no,
point.
I don't
Not
think so.
not
'Cause I think
always.
what you're talking about is leaning towards conservative, whatever the
Yeah,
party may
yeah,
be,
that's
whatever color that is, right?
Mhm,
that's what I'm
conservative.
getting at. I mean, you could even use the N word, nationalist. Ooh, everybody scared everybody for a second there, didn't I? You know what I mean? Like, why is it that our government and our media and our 3-letter agencies galore and the NGOs and the Fortune 100, why is it they're all telling us that we need to be afraid of conservative people or right-wing people? I mean, I don't even understand that. Where is the example of these people? You know what I mean? Where's the country that these people look to as an example? Where are their massive forces? All I ever see from these people are images like this one right here, that are quite literally whipped up by Fed boys and media PR people.
Mhm.
It's this stuff isn't that. I hate to break it to you folks. You're probably not even you folks that I'm going to say this to probably aren't even listening to this show, but I hate to break it to you, but that kind of stuff, there's only a percentage of organicness to it, only a percentage of reality to these images and this reporting. I think we've proven that to ourselves in 8 years of doing this show. But I don't expect anybody to just take my word for it. That's a hard pill to swallow with a lot of analysis behind it. But yeah, I just don't understand, man. I think that the whole premise of right wing MAGA extremists is ridiculous because every single person that I've ever met almost who wears the red hat or is slightly conservative or is anything other than insane, mentally ill, progressive, they don't do things like this. They don't think like this. They don't want civil war. You know what I mean? This is a false representation of those people, and it's over 100 million people that they're talking about. And I think it's just fucking ridiculous that we have to dance around it as though it's some sort of real classification of people that is actually effective or dangerous in any way, shape, or form. The only dangerous thing about this classification of people is that we have a lot of American veterans in that classification of people, people who have been in the military and who are now being called extremists. It's like that is one of the most ultimate fuck yous to your veterans you could possibly do is basically classify all veterans who are not progressives as extremists. What the actual fuck is that?
Well, I mean the biggest threat. I mean, the conservative ideology is a threat to their agenda, right? I mean, if you look at the crux of it, they have a certain agenda. Anybody with a conservative views is a threat, direct threat for that agenda. Um, that's why they want to label everybody as a threat, because in their head, it is a threat for them. It is a threat for the agenda, right? Uh, Also, it's big part of this, and we spoke about this in previous shows, is scare tactics. Um, establishment GOP is dead. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah.
Liz Cheney, Nikki Haley, Paul Ryan, these guys are in the garbage right now. They have no influence, right? Um, you're seeing new people that actually believe in America first coming out, running for offices, actual citizens that want to participate in the government and taking control back of the right, us as citizens, to govern ourselves. Um, all this is a threat to the establishment on both sides. And this push is not only coming from the Democrat side. January 6th was led by Liz Cheney, right? So it's this fight is not going to end there. They are going to keep going until they push everybody back underground and they get them to stop talking. That's what they are after. As they want to get pre 2015 back, but it's not going to happen. I will tell you this because it is just not going to happen.
Yeah,
People are. It's already changed.
they've gone too far. They've started to eat themselves. They've
That's
ruined
right.
all of their own movements by trying to stack them all up. And let everybody participate in their oppression Olympics and try to figure out who gets the gold medal this week, and then the next week, someone else gets the gold medal and takes it from the other one. It's gotten to
And
be pure madness, man. And then look at their cities. Their cities are fucking falling apart. They've allowed open society to fund all of their district attorneys, and the places are just turning into violent shitholes.
it is, and people are normal, everyday Americans are pissed. They are pissed because they are feeling the hit in their pockets. They are pissed because they see the impact of this in their kid, especially this transgender agenda. It's pissing a lot of people off. That's people that are not even political. Like Tennessee is actually, I think they are about to start banning because of this Nashville clinic. They are banning like any transgender surgeries to children's. Because it's just this agenda is sick and it's making a lot of people angry. Um, Critical race theory, pushing this crap in schools. What the DOJ did of basically like politicizing DOJ to go after parents that are not accepting the narrative from their school boards and calling them terrorists and threats. There's just a lot, and when you put all those together, people are not happy.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And it's not just conservatives that are a threat to them. It's also classic liberals. And I don't know that all the classic liberals have figured this out yet, but I got news for you. If you're a liberal and you're anti-war at all, if you don't like what the fuck is going on right now, guess what? You're a MAGA terrorist too. I hate to break it to you, but you're in the way. You're in the way of that extreme progressive plan, because that all is going to link back with technocracy, with transhumanism, with globalism, with the Green New Deal, and with the pandemic industrial complex, and with complete authoritarianism, because that's where that's all headed. And, it's just so disingenuous and stupid to think that you could boil their enemy list down to MAGA extremists. It's such a stupid fucking word. I can't even believe I've had to say it this many times. I don't like that they've inserted that into the narrative, you know what I mean? But it's just such an imaginary group of people, because you're right. The people they're actually afraid of is pretty much everyone. If they're talking about just the voters for conservatives and or Trump, you're looking at that, you're looking at 100 million people in this country, roughly a third of the country, that you're insulting. And then if you add everyone else that doesn't know that they are in the same category just because they're a classic liberal or a centrist, well, holy shit, you're looking at 2/3 of the country, probably, maybe more. It's just stupid.
It is
Yeah.
absolutely is.
You know, I had a guy on my show today on TNT, and he was telling me about this. He was giving me an anecdote out of a town in Southern California, and he said that there are just so many people that are pissed off right now. He said that at one of the school board meetings they were having down there, 250 people, 250 parents and community members showed up, and another 250 on a fucking Zoom call. I mean, 500 people showing up for a school board meeting, and all of them, like by and large, the mass amounts of them were like, asking really tough questions like, "Are you gonna support medical mandates and mask mandates? What are you gonna do next time this happens? What do you know what I mean?" They're asking them the questions that the common sense questions. So it's been really interesting. And the other thing he told me, this is something just didn't surprise me, but at the same time did. They did a public records request into this school system, and they got like a batch of emails, right? And in the emails, they found an email chain that where the school principal had been CC'd on a thread with the school board, and the school board was having an ongoing operation where they were doing surveillance on parents who wanted to start school back up, in-person school without masks. They started doing surveillance, social media surveillance, physical surveillance, you know what I mean? Following them around, shit like that, to parents that wanted to have their kids back in their school and not have them be forced to wear the ritual muzzle of shame that harms them. Just amazing. That kind of shit has, just all these little fucking micro tyrants that popped up all over the place. They're getting rooted out now. They're getting rooted out of communities left and right. So, maybe there's hope there, man. Because like we've been saying the whole time, not one's gonna come in and be a fucking hero here for us. It's gonna be the public waking up a little bit and standing up for themselves and stop taking this shit by doing stuff like that. Infidels on his hookah. All right.
Sorry.
That's all right, man.
No, sorry. I was actually trying to get the video.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. Yeah, so Ruckus, we're approaching top of the hour here. I'll bounce it back to you, man. I guess getting back to what got us down that whole road here, the narrative hiding and the narrative boosting in the mass media, and then trying to push us into this whole war mode and everything. It's just gotten out of hand. That link you sent me, when we compare and contrast that to the story of the 41-year-old who ran over the 18-year-old for his political viewpoints, it's just like, why the hell am I looking at this MSN thing? Why is this out today? I don't know.
Well, okay, and why isn't Fox News and Newsmax and Alex Jones all over this like flies on shit? How come that's not like their headline? How come this isn't a talking point? How come it's not a trending hashtag on Twitter?
Mm-hmm.
So that's real. That really happened. That's how you know when shit is real. Like it's like otherwise you get this big fanfare and story and narrative and timeline and breakdown and for 2 days and pundits and they all read from the same damn script and you can play them all together and it's like, it's a threat to our democracy. Like what they're doing with this other narrative that they're painting. So it's not just the Democrats, it's not just the mainstream medias and the left and the progressives who are painting this idea that MAGA terrorists are a threat. It's also the right who's painting, going right along with that story. Do you understand what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that's the ultimate narrative. So it has absolutely nothing to do with reality, which is just proof, evidence that something will pop off, i.e., I'm just calling it right now, 99.99% sure if something happens, knock on wood, it's going to be a complete false flag. That's fine. I call me a crazy conspiracy theorist, but you can see them planting the seed of this false narrative, especially when they refuse to look at the real news, when technically that narrative would serve their same purpose if they just want civil war, but they don't. They want specifically there's going to be a situation where it's an extreme mega terrorist, and then FBI, the IRS, there's your instance of all that shit right there, infidel.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. And okay, so check it out. So there is an update on that. I see an update on there before this one went down. So, what two liberal media outlets, the Washington Post and ABC News, have just published on their websites between 4 and 5 p.m. on September 21st, yesterday, is the Newswire distributed by the AP agency, which does not even mention the real motive for the crime. This is even more controversial than the mere fact of not covering or the report for 3 days. So this is how the WAPO and ABC present the news. Quote, ND driver claims political argument preceded teen's death. End quote. That's the way they're going to frame that. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
So
they can take any narrative and spin it the way they want it. That's the thing. As Raka said, they detached all narrative from reality. That they started this a while back, so
yeah.
not surprised.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and there's a screenshot too of let's see, on the article you can see a screenshot of them basically refusing to say the alleged perpetrator said he ran over the young man because he was a quote Republican extremist. There's a screenshot of that. I believe that was by WAPO maybe. There's no trace of the words Republican or extremist group in this newswire from AP, which is so far the main motive revealed by the defendant himself to carry out the outrage. So just didn't fit the narrative, man. Much like the congressional baseball thing. Remember the Bernie Bro shooter? There was someone who had been, to use their own terms, radicalized by the insane media, the mainstream media, the mass media cartel, went out and tried to shoot, Rand Paul and Justice Scalia at a baseball field. He made comments, political comments, and obviously similar thing. And that story was just there and gone in a blink. It's it's the same tactic. This is just one example of a main tactic, right? Like they won't tell you about the tens of thousands of people that defend themselves with their firearms each year, like all the success stories. We just don't even hear any of those. We hear maybe a handful, a dozen a year, something like that. But these things happen all the time, all the time. I mean, Santa Rosa sheriff was just did a press conference saying we would prefer it if you shoot your home invaders. That was great. I'm gonna have to see if I can find
It's
that
like the
clip.
self checkout at the grocery store, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just cut out the middleman. All right. Well, it must be about break time here. I'm gonna have to let Ruckus go and get reset for another setup here. But I don't know. You're welcome to hang with us, Ruckus, if you want. I don't know what time you got to bug out tonight, but what do you say we take a intermission, fellas?
Yeah, I
That
better
sounds good.
double check what time I'm supposed to be on because I forgot.
All right. Well, we'll take 5 or 10 or whatever here, and we'll reconvene. And yeah. All right, Ruckus. Anything you want to throw onto this video before we get out of here, man?
Yeah, actually, since they're hanging out there, because I like to support all content creators if they're putting out good stuff. So in the YouTube chat, shout out to Media Bear and Slow Boy Whiteboard. If you guys are on YouTube, click their names and check out their channels. They put out some cool stuff. And then speaking of cool stuff, don't forget all the stuff me and Hesher here and Patrick Henningsen and some of the friends and family members and Sideways affiliates and whatnot from ACR doing what we're doing over there at tntradio.live. Lots of good stuff going on over there. So shout out to TNT. And yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's always a pleasure. Maybe I'll be able to hang out a little bit before I have to go join Joseph Arthur for his Technicolor Dreamcast. Otherwise, maybe I can pop back in afterwards. Otherwise, I'll see everybody next week. And
All
so
right.
may God bless each and every one of you, and may God save this republic.
All right, awesome. Yeah, Ruckus, it's been a great week over at TNT. A lot of great collaborations. We had Odd Man Out over there on Joseph's show. We had Ruckus. Ruckus is on Joseph's show 5 days a week, everybody. So make sure you're checking out Joseph Arthur's Technicolor Dreamcast at tntradio.live. And I'm live every day from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time on the Brian McLean show over there at TNT. Having a great time with that. So, yeah, and we're gonna have other familiar voices and faces joining us on TNT. We've got Photon joining. We've got Corey Drayton joining. We're gonna have Tristan Haggard on next week on Thursday. Got some great stuff lined up on the TNT show. And of course, Patrick's over there doing Tuesdays and Thursdays in the 3 hour slot before my show. His show was amazing today. That third hour was great. Yeah, so a big shout out, everybody. Check us out on tntradio.live, where we're doing our other collaborations and interviews and fun stuff. Ruckus is heading off there to do that. So check us out over there, as well as alternatecurrentradio.com. Infidel Pharaoh, I know you may not be able to make it to a follow-up session tonight. So over to you for any saved rounds, final thoughts you may have for tonight's Boiler Room.
No, it was great chatting with you guys. As always, thanks for having me. Sorry, I've been up since 2 a.m. and need to get some rest.
All right,
But,
man.
I will save. I will save it for next week.
All right. Sounds good, dude. Sounds good. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for staying
Thanks,
up late
man.
with us. And yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Get some sleep, get some rest. We got to be well rested to keep up what we're doing over here. Keep up the fight.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, Miles, what's up? We just had Miles show up in the chat. Good to see you, man. Slow Boy Whiteboard, what up? And of course, Media Bear. Great to see everybody out there tonight. Thanks for joining us. Okay, we're gonna shut this segment down. We may or may not come back for a part 2. I don't know. We're pretty tired over here too, and we got another show to get ready for at 7 in the morning. So keep an eye on that Discord, keep an eye on the YouTube. The thing will pop up if we come back live. And if not, everybody have a great evening. And if so, we'll see you for another session of Boiler Room after we take a break. All right. Peace out.